Another name that was brought up a lot in the hearing, as you know because you were there, was former President Donald Trump. You're saying President Biden has no defense whatsoever, but former President Trump, rather, was indicted for allegedly mishandling classified documents. Do you think he has no defense whatsoever, too?
Well, the reason that there's a difference between the two is that President Trump was the president at the time that he took the documents, or when he was leaving office, so had the authority to actually declassify. Joe Biden, as senator, never had any authority whatsoever to have classified information. As vice president, while he may have had the right to work with these documents, see these documents, access these documents, again, he had no authority whatsoever to declassify them. So I think that's one very important point. But the other important point that I think comes out of this is I think it's very clear that we have a two-tiered system of justice in this country. The way that Joe Biden was handled, the way that his situation was handled as compared to how Donald Trump's situation was handled, were night and day. And the reality is that we know, because we saw the photographs, Joe Biden, the secret documents or the classified documents that he had were in, boxes stuck in a garage, haphazardly thrown into a box, no lid, no rhyme nor reason. Anybody could have walked out there and started rifling through that stuff. Because of where President Trump lived and where the documents were, they were actually under Secret Service protection. That's another thing. But again, that's why I say, if you're going to go after Donald Trump and say that he mishandled classified documents, you have to do the same with Joe Biden. And that's why I believe that Mr. Hur was wrong to step in the middle of that and say, yeah, okay, he mishandled classified documents, but I think he's going to use an incompetence defense. So instead of letting the jury make that decision, he went ahead and was the prosecutor, the judge, and the jury all rolled into one and said, yeah, I'm going to say that I don't think we could get a conviction. That isn't how they've treated Donald Trump.
To your point, we did see photos of classified materials in a Mar-a-Lago bathroom. And another difference was President Biden was allegedly cooperative. President Trump allegedly obstructed justice, according to the DOJ. So do you believe that President Biden should have been indicted because President Trump was, or vice versa, no one should have been indicted?
Either one or the other, but I think that cooperation is in the eye of the beholder. Joe Biden cooperated when he got caught. Joe Biden wasn't out there saying, oh my goodness gracious, I've got a trove of classified documents, I need to get a hold of DOJ. He got caught with all these documents. They found him in 5 or 6 different locations, many of which were in no security whatsoever. So there's that issue. But keep in mind, the battle was between Donald Trump and the lead arc who worked for the federal government. They were fighting over which documents Donald Trump needed to return and which ones he was able to keep. So when the Department of Justice say that he was not cooperative, they raided his home. They didn't call him up and say, you know what, we need you to bring those documents down to the office now. The Department of Justice knew where the documents were that were being retained by Donald Trump. They knew they were at Mar-a-Lago. They had even come to him and said, we want another lock on the door for that one file room that you have, so why don't you take care of that? The battle was that the archivist was adamant that he was going to win this argument that he had with Donald Trump. And the DOJ and the FBI went in and raided the home. So when they say that Donald Trump was not cooperating, he was in a disagreement with the archivist about what documents he could have. The FBI then raided his home. So I guess when you say that you're raided by the FBI, you're not being cooperative. He wasn't there to cooperate or not. They waited until he was gone to raid his home. So whenever I'm looking at how the FBI has treated Donald Trump and how the FBI and the DOJ have treated the Biden family or Hillary Clinton when she mishandled literally tens of thousands of classified documents, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, which there is clearly a two-tier justice system in this country, one that applies to people that are named Hillary Clinton and Joe and Hunter Biden, and one that applies to everybody else, including Donald Trump. So, no, I think that what happened with Hillary Clinton, for example, was an egregious situation. of violating the law in the mishandling of classified documents, and she walked and skated. So I actually think that we need to bring her into this discussion as well, which is what I did during my questioning of her, because it's important that people understand that Hillary Clinton is probably one of the most egregious examples of failure to cooperate that we have. Remember, they destroyed their electronic equipment. They used hammers to destroy cell phones, and they used bleach bit to wipe the computers so that the FBI would not know the level and extent of classified documents that she had mishandled.
Donald Trump was accused of allegedly destroying evidence as well, but you did bring up Hillary Clinton in your questioning of Robert Hur, and he's taken a lot of criticism from both sides of the aisle. Here today, in the testimony, Republicans were critical over his decision to not recommend he be prosecuted, and Democrats took issue with the way he characterized President Biden's memory. Do you think he acted politically in either way?
Where I would say Hur acted politically is in, rather than just making his recommendation to the DOJ that he had found that Joe Biden had violated the law in terms of his handling of classified materials, and saying, you all decide whether this should be whether this should be executed. He stepped in and said, I'm not sure that we could get a conviction, and therefore I'm going to say that while he willfully violated the law and mishandled classified information, execution. So where I think politics came in is when he looked at, all right, should Joe Biden be prosecuted or should he not, even though we do know that he violated the law, and we're going to say, we just don't think we can get a conviction, that a jury will convict. But as one of my fellow congressmen was able to elicit from him, he testified that absolutely a reasonable juror could have found that Joe Biden violated the law and mishandled the classified materials, illegally handled the classified materials. Once he reached that conclusion, then if they are going to prosecute Donald Trump, if we're going to have an equal system of justice, if everybody has to abide by the rule of law, then Joe Biden also needed to be held accountable.